all right, so people have been telling you, well, then, hey, if you're so involved in this community and we've got the issues going on with the OGL and D&D, hey, why don't you make your own game? And so then you decided, okay, fine, all right, I'll just do it. Now's the time. So then comes Vagabond. So I guess that tells us what caused you to develop it then.
Yeah, there's a couple.
That's your motivation.
There's a couple different mixes of things. I mean, this definitely like set a fire under me, you know, but what kind of started out as a like laissez, like, oh, okay, well, let's look at what we can do with the SRD, I guess, and you know, from there. But it eventually like took on its own life. And I would say after about like really it was once we figured out the combat and like refined it down and just like clean up the action economy. It went from like, well, okay, we're gonna do this because we need something to write for, into no, I want to make this happen. I want to run combat like this. I want to run a game like this that makes it this easy for the game master to run it, you know. So I would say that first month or so was probably a little bit like, all right, we got to do this because like we need our own TTRPG to write for. And then the second month onward, it was like, no, we have something really cool we want to make now, you know. So that's eventually where the like philosophy, I guess, behind it really swapped. It was about in like February or something. But yeah.
Okay, well, so Sable Phoenix, the next question that I was going to ask is kind of related to what Sable Phoenix brings up here. And Sable Phoenix says, because I was going to ask then, what is Vagabond doing differently? Because I mean, we've experienced an explosion of tabletop RPGs since the OGL debacle. I mean, we had tons of them before. We have lots of them now, right?
Right.
Even more now. So Sable Phoenix says, I've been curious, other than 5e fatigue and distrust of WotC, what kind of space do you see Vagabond filling in the Titterpig TTRPG space that isn't currently being addressed by another system? So what is it that Vagabond is doing that's unique?
So, okay, so there's a lot of things I could list that are essentially, well, this system does that as well. Well, this system does that as well. Well, does this system not do that also, right? So if I say, well, right now what I really like is it's a solo group or guided or a TTRPG, people could go like, well, Ironsworn does that. And I'm like, right, well, Ironsworn has a different take on character expression, right? What I'm trying to do is essentially from everything that I've been doing in research with 5e design, really, branching out in, studying other TTRPGs and whatnot. I'm trying to figure out like how to cut the fat of a lot of modern TTRPGs without hurting the character expression of a lot of modern TTRPGs. It's my philosophy that the best kind of game for a game master is, and this is kind of our punchline over there with like the Vagabond, Kickstarter. This is a game that's going to run itself. I believe.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm trying to write a game that is taking as much weight off of the arbiter or the GM's shoulders as possible, so that it's just their job. If they don't want to engage with the combat and they're like, "There's this monster, here's what it's doing," cool. They can basically play it like a chess piece at that point. But I wanted them to be able to focus on the things like running the world, the creative aspects of it, if that's what they wanted to do, or if they do want to get more into it with boss fights and like pilot the monsters, they 100% can. There's an option there. But it's my philosophy with this game that I need the system to be able to run itself to make sure that the person who inarguably has the hardest job at the table, we're taking some of that load away from them, right? Let the system be the bad guy, not the arbiter. The system is going to take any feel bads or whatever that could be as a result of something that happened in combat that someone's going to blame the arbiter for. We're gonna reel that in. The game has an AI for the enemies. This is how they are supposed to act. There isn't going to be this thing where the game master is going to step in and they're like, but how do I run a monster? What do I think? I'm thinking a brand new DM, right? If they step into the game, I'm hoping to give them an easy launching pad into being impartial in combat, letting the game run that for them in a sense. There were what kind of space do I see Vagabond filling in the DTRPG space that isn't addressed by another system? There is an amount of character expression in Vagabond that I think those of you that are into Pathfinder and D&D are also going to find basically more, if not like, the same, if not more, over here in Vagabond. Now, I'm also not exactly trying to compete either. I'm not trying to say that like this is going to be the thing that's going to kill D&D or Pathfinder. That's not my thing. This is me trying to write something that, as I played it, felt great, and I want to keep developing on that. If I say something certain about a system, and then there could be a million different responses in chat. Well, this other system does that as well, right? Armor reduction, Merkborg, 100%. So there's luck dice, very much inspired by omens from Merkborg. The aptitude system in here, very much inspired by Pathfinder, right? So I'm taking some of these ideas and doing my own kind of derivative work on them, and kind of bringing it all under one house to make a system that just feels it's just felt good in combat, at least. So